War Eagle, War Eagle, War Eagle, everyone. And with that, 2022 spring game A Day is in the books. I am here,
Hey.
C Dub, joined by Mike G. And we joined by the greatest family in the Auburn family, the War Report family. Guys, come on in, settle on in. We definitely want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Mike G, your thoughts on what you saw today?
This was interesting. This was interesting. Hold on. This thing is yeah, the stream wasn't public. So yeah, this was definitely very interesting. This was an interesting A-Day. I thought we got a decent amount of information about where kind of we're at. I thought it was very telling that they didn't send Finley out for the second half. That
Telling in
tells
what way?
I think it tells you a lot about where they feel like he is at.
Yeah.
In terms of this race, that they didn't even feel like they don't need to gather any more information about TJ Finley. Right. So um, I saw some good things from the receivers. Robbie Ashford, I thought he went out there and made some plays. There's still some development to be done there. There's still some
Yeah.
things that they need to work on there. So that'll be, he's got some things. I think there's a lot on tape for him to work on between now and the spring.
Very
Zach,
talented kid. Very
yeah.
talented kid.
But listen, Zach Calzada is going to factor into this race. The last thing that we saw, Holden Garner, I really like this kid. He's not going to start this fall, but if that's where we're headed at quarterback, I know it's such a small sample size, but he looked very decisive with the football.
Right.
I would say he looked more decisive than Finley or Robbie did while he was in there. Now, mind you, he was in there against the third team, but I liked what I saw from him. You can only go out there and perform against who they put you out there against.
I
So
mean,
I'm not gonna hold that against him.
he looked impressive having been on campus 4 months.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's got a bright
You give him
future.
that. You
Yeah,
can give him that.
yeah, he'll factor into the 2023 quarterback race certainly. But I really liked Holden Garner. After during his recruitment, as we started to get more tape on him, they upgraded him from a 3-star to a 4-star. And the more I watched of Holden, the more I really, really liked him. So again, I don't think he factors into this quarterback race necessarily, but I liked him. I thought he went out there and did himself a lot of he did himself a favor today by playing
Yeah,
the way he did.
for sure.
Ashford shows that his mobility is going to be helpful to him in the fall if this line plays the way that it does. He had some good. He had a dump off. I think it was to. He had a dump off to a tight end where he was pinched on the sideline and he just made a play with the
Yeah.
ball. And
Yeah.
there was some playmaking ability. The first throw across the middle,
Frazier, I believe.
Frazier, right?
Yeah.
The first throw he had across the middle, the Capers was behind him. It was complete. And then the next one he threw to Capers was a dime on the money.
On the money for sure.
Yeah. So when you're looking at overall the performance from QBs, I think you just saw the good and the bad, right? You saw how great it can be with these guys when they're on, but that's not going to be the issue. I keep saying it. I'll say it again. The issue is going to be that floor. Where is the floor at with each quarterback? With TJ, the floor is sailing passes over the middle. He needs to raise that floor. Just take that out of your game. Stop doing
Right.
that. And he would have
Right.
had a great day today.
Right.
For Robbie, it's just going to be a little bit more accuracy, I think, on short passes. He showed some ability today. TJ showed some good touch on his downfield throws.
Yeah.
I thought he gave the receivers a chance to win downfield. So I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked the short yards. The fact that he threw touch there, even to start the game. It looks like he's been working on that. And as you said, Mike, you've already mentioned there are some throws that I'm sure TJ would want back in this game. And those are things that he's going to have to take with him into the summer to work on.
Right.
Because those are big time throws. I mean, you can't throw it to the defender.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that he has to work on. And I'm curious to see what one thing I can take away from this is that we are entrenched in a QB battle.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's separated today.
No one has separated themselves after this game. I think we are taking this strongly, and I think Calzada. The only thing keeping him out of this competition is his shoulder at this point.
Yeah, he's in it. I mean, I don't think you can look at anything you saw today and say that he's not going to have a shot in the fall if he comes in and shows, because he has been throwing. Listen, it's not that he hasn't been getting time. He's been throwing.
Right. Just no live action, but he's been throwing with the receivers.
So I liked that we got to see the upside of each of these guys. Right, we got to see the upside of TJ, and we got to see the upside for Ashford, and their ceilings I don't think have ever been the issue for me. Right, it's just going to be like, how consistently can they keep their floor? You know, when they're in game, will they make the requisite amount of plays for us to have a chance to win?
When there's pressure on them, where's their floor?
What you saw from TJ was you saw him make down the field throws that give us a chance to win today. But you also saw him make plays that would give the ball back to the other team. Robbie did a little bit of that today too. So on both sides, he had some iffy throws on some short outs there that got knocked down. I think he was trying to throw the capers and he was completely covered.
Yeah, he tried to force that one and almost threw a pick.
So it'll be interesting to see, like, you know, how again we handle. How do we handle this stuff, man? Like, you know, what is gonna be the ultimate say so for Brian Harsin? Come fall, Zach Calzada's just got to get in there and mix it up and put pressure on these guys for that starting job. And if they win it over him, I don't know, man. I'm iffy. If I had to pick a quarterback today.
Well, this is Bryson Bridges. Not to cut you off, but he says, I'm upset TJ celebrated with the team after holding his touchdown. What a bum.
Yeah, I think he's being sarcastic.
In y'all's opinion, which QB starts right now if the season started today?
It'd
be Finley for sure.
100%. It'd be Finley.
It has to be Finley because Harsin is going to put, and this is kind of what we saw last year with Bo, because he trusted Bo's experience going into the season, right? Given what we had behind Bo, he trusted what Bo brought to the table in terms of his experience. The same is here with TJ. We got some talented guys behind TJ, unlike last year, but Harsin trusts a guy who understands his offense, what he's asking them to do, and his experience is playing a factor, which is a big reason why people are factoring in Calzada as a big-time challenger to Finley, because he has the same experience. Perhaps not with this team, but he has SEC experience.
Right.
So I would have to go with Finley. If the season started today, it has to be Finley for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, you know, again, you're looking at it and you're just thinking, you know, what is the likelihood that any of these guys come from behind? And, you know, the thing with Calzada is he's got starting experience that he's bringing to the table. Right. He's got a whole year of tape and experience against SEC defenses that he's bringing to the table that gives him a leg up on guys like Robbie. So, you know, when Robbie goes out there, if he wasn't exactly gangbusters today. I thought he showed why he is a good quarterback.
Right.
But he's got competition. He's got guys who just have more on the field experience than he does. And Ashford has time between now and the fall to raise his game even more. So you saw that. You saw what it was today. Get in the film room, study the tape. improve on your areas where you need to grow your strengths and cover your weaknesses, and he'll have a shot to get some playing time this fall, I think.
Agreed. Again, I will say this. I am encouraged by what I saw today with the QB competition.
Yeah.
Going into the summer and into the fall, I'm very encouraged because I know Harsin and I know Keesaw has something to work with. And you got guys in that room who can push each other. I expect Ashford to push Finley. I expect Calzada to push Finley. I expect them to push each other, really, right? And so I'm encouraged by that because it's not TJ and everybody else. We have a real competition on our hands, and I'm expecting whoever rises above and takes the job, that they will be better off by having this competition.
Right. I agree 100%. Like I said, it just is one of those things where we have to not overreact to anything that we saw today.
Yeah.
I think that we showed that we're going to be an improved offensive football team in the fall, especially with our actual line back. I thought the receivers showed me a little something today. They're going to be options at receiver. Guys looked more, I mean, beside the Dawson drop, I thought guys looked more sure-handed.
Yeah.
So you're going to have drops. Drops are going to happen. You shouldn't write Dawson off because of that one drop.
No.
Hey, he showed that he can get behind the defense. Certainly. So
yeah, and he's going to be a big part of the off. Well, again, it's curious to see how he factors in once Javaris Johnson comes back, because they was using him in a lot of ways how they used Javaris last year. He was a speed sweep guy. He was coming in on motion. He was the guy that they was looking to get behind the defense. So with Javaris Johnson back, I'm curious to see how he factors in into that, because it looked like he was playing more of his role. But I'm excited about what these receivers will look like. What do you think about Capers, man? Capers showed me something today.
Listen, Xavier went out there and made plays.
And I like what I saw with Capers. That's what I've been talking about, man.
He caught a pass thrown behind him over the middle of the field. He had a few catches today. I need to go back and look at the stat line. Hopefully they email out, the SID department emails that out to us so we can take a look at the stats from today. But I thought Capers showed me something today. Everybody's been so down on our receivers, and I've been trying to say, with better quarterback play, you're going to be surprised how much better these tight ends and receivers look. And look at what happened today. Shed with a big catch over the middle. I mean, that was a dime from TJ too. We've got a chance to be a really, really good football team in the fall. The first two games, they'll have to work out, a few chinks and everything, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, this is a good football team.
I'm starting to wonder, am I really going to start loving Landon King in the red zone?
Ooh, boy.
I think I'm starting to like what I think the coaches see in this guy, because he looks like he's a real threat down there, bro.
Yeah, I agree. He looks like somebody who can make plays for you in crunch time. He did in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah,
he did in the Iron Bowl. So, what are we going to see from these guys in the 4 months between now and fall practice?
Yeah,
they've got to get back on the field. A lot of it is going to be on them, right? This is the last organized practice they can have. So team leadership needs to take over at this point, and guys need to hit the practice field together. They need to go out and throw. They need to be in the film room and be looking at the playbook and do all the little things that help you prepare. Greats, every great player in the history of every sport that has been great long-term, their preparation. You hear people talk about legendary preparation. Tom Brady's, guys like Joe Burrow, these guys, you read stories about how they prepare for games. And so we just need to prepare, man. That's it. That's what it boils down to.
Agreed. Got a super chat here from Parker Jackson. Thanks again, man, for watching us. And the super chat, he says, TJ has progressed, but still inconsistent. Robbie brings a lot of versatility and strong arm. Holden is the truth for the future. Landon King is a grown man. Wide receivers have improved. Tight end room is insanity.
No lies detected.
Facts,
Yeah,
and
no
even more
lies
facts.
detected.
Okay, all right. You're bringing way too many facts. We gotta have a fact limit for you, Parker. But
Yeah,
uh, I,
I'll tell you what though. It's this is not an excuse, but when on the missed pass to Dawson down the field, the next play we saw was not a good one. Now, if you are not a member of the War Report, if you're not a member of our channel, become a member, because we're going to break down this film. Ike and I are going to get in the film room, chop this up, and we're going to have a good time.
tell them how they can do that, sir.
You know what? That is a great point, Mr. Caesar. So we become a member of the War Report, hit our YouTube channel, and hit the join button. Our film reviews are something that we reserve for members only. So we'll break down this film live with you guys. You'll be able to ask questions, make comments, tell us your observations, and we'll talk about it as a family. What did we see during 8-8 to the rolling clock? I wasn't a big fan of the rolling clock in the second half. I'm just like, can we just?
They did that last year.
Yeah, I hate it.
And a lot of schools do that actually. So it's something that they do.
It went so fast. I wanted to see a little bit more of these guys. I wanted to see Garner for a couple drives. And when we didn't send TJ back out, it became apparent they want to get more information on Robbie. And Holden, a kid who probably came in, worked hard and worked his tail off, probably busted ass this spring. You have to reward him with a good amount of time on the field. He deserved a drive. He deserved 2 drives, if you ask me. But he got what he got, and I thought he went out there and made the most of it. Opportunity he got. So just kind of is what it is. But I can't express this enough. I was really impressed with Holden Garner and the little that we saw. He looks like a kid who is poised, and if that's our future, I hope that Harsin gets to year 3. I hope that we don't make any snap decisions based on this next season, and if he gets to year 3, we can start to see these kids that he's got in the fold, like Holden, and what they can do. So. Competition is always a good thing. I think that Robbie has a lot of room, to get better and factor in. He's definitely the most. I know he hates this, but he is definitely the most athletic quarterback out there.
I don't think he would disagree with that. No one's calling him an athlete, but you are athletic.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, he is his athleticism is apparent. To open, I think it was the second drive. He just took off, and I was like, whoa, like. Sneaky speed. He's got sneaky speed.
And I think that's why you saw the first team defense on its heels that first drive, because of what his athleticism makes the defense have to account for.
You got to play him differently.
Right. Right. And so you saw that. Now they were able to come back the second drive and stall them out, but we saw they were a little bit on their heels a little bit in that first drive, and that's what he will do to opposing defenses, which is why a lot of people are excited about him in this QB race as to what the offense will do.
Well, hear me out, right? Hear me out. In Cam Newton's spring with Auburn, when he came in, the coaches said Cam would take off in practice. And they would be like, okay, because quarterbacks aren't live, would that have been a 5-yard run or 80-yard run? We don't know.
Right.
We just don't know. It's hard to evaluate that. We just know that he's athletic and he's got, he can use that athleticism when he breaks loose with his legs. Robbie, I'm not saying he reminds me of Cam Newton. I'm saying that because I hate those kind of comparisons. I'm just saying his athleticism is really hard to evaluate. We know he's athletic, but how good is it? It's hard to evaluate during a spring game, because until the defense can actually touch him and tackle him, you just never know how good he could be as a ball carrier as well too. Some of those plays, he might be out there breaking tackles and ankles, and we just never know because they can't tackle him. So that is an aspect that he does bring. It's not a bad thing to have. Bo's athleticism bailed us out in a lot of ways. Last year when pass protection broke down, and if Robbie can make better decisions with the football on the run, that does give him a leg up on everybody else in there, including Calzada. Calzada is sneaky athletic.
Yeah.
He's not a statue back there. He can move. So
Right.
I'm excited to see more of that race.
Um, and I love the play where you already mentioned it, when he rolled out to his right. I just knew Robbie was going to either take off or run out of bounds, but then he found Frazier on the sideline and hit him there.
Yeah.
So like those types of plays that he's making on the run, it makes him very intriguing. There's just other things he's going to have to pick up. Like again, he still he still has to learn this offense. He's only, again, just like Garner, he hasn't been here that long, right? So I'm curious to see how much he picks up, and that's where the trust has to be earned, I think, with Ashford. How comfortable are you with what Harson's asking of you?
Right. I want to highlight this comment here. People still care about Auburn football, their program. Yes, people care. You, because you're here on our live stream. So thanks for caring. We appreciate that, Tennessee. Y'all still giving out Happy Meals, or like what's going on up there? Just trying to figure it out. Well, we got a guy from Tennessee. Do we have a Dylan Brooks? Speaking of Tennessee, do we have a Dylan Brooks sighting?
I did see him on a play.
It was hard to track defense. So when we go back and look at the tape, I kind of want to see how the defense. They made some plays out there today.
Hey, I was impressed with who was the Caleb Wooden. Like he was making some plays on the second team defense. So I was impressed with him. I thought our secondary did a fairly decent job at times. So yeah, we have to kind of have to do a watch the film. I thought Marlon is pointing out Marcus Harris. He made a few stops today. So our starters were pretty solid. I was happy with what was the linebacker? Let me look at our linebackers. Let me look at our linebackers real quick. I'll pull it up real quick. Like, yeah, Wesley Steiner. I thought he looked fairly decent today. So I was pleased. I was pleased with what I saw with our linebackers. It looks like they are taking the next step. So I'm eager to see how they look in the fall. But Steiner looked more sure of where he was supposed to be. He understood what he was supposed to be on defense.
Definitely.
As opposed to last year. And Riley made some plays as well. People are pointing out Riley.
That Julio looks good.
And again, Owen Papo comes back in the fall. So this could be the second level could be
formidable.
Really good. And so I'm excited about the linebacking core, because again, this was an area I was eager to see how they look. What is life like after Zacoby McClain, right? So it looks like we are in good hands, at least from what we saw in the spring, especially knowing that our best linebacker is out. But I'm pleased with what I saw with those guys. They looked a lot more disciplined and that they understood where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, there was a lot of promise out there. We have some things to work on, but defensively, I think defense won today.
Sure,
I think defense is won today. That's not odd for an 8A game.
Right.
That's not odd for an 8A game. So we just have to build on this going into the fall. And, guys have to take over from here, man. If you want to be great, if you want to be a good football team, individuals need to rally with their teammates, get in the film room and try to figure out what, how they can raise their game, raise their floor.
Right. Bryson, I like this one. Pro Wrestling Guru, aka agency, also smells like nickels and drinks.
Yeah. Can we just put that out there? If you drink white Gatorade, you're probably a terrible person. Like you have mental health. Yeah, because it's gross.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
But in true troll, and I'm surprised you brought it up, but in true troll fashion, you drop a comment and leave, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
where you at? Well, yeah, we highlighted. I mean, I just think it's funny when people come to other teams and say, "We don't care about y'all." What? You're here.
But
you clearly care.
You're here, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
so
Another guy who I was pleased with is Sean Jackson. Sean Jackson runs north to south.
Yeah.
And again, he's not going to be the reason why I like him, Mike, is I'm not expecting him to be Tank. I'm not expecting him to be Jarquez. But
Right.
what I am expecting him to be is the guy who attacks the hole. And in short yardage situations, I like a guy like that.
Right.
Tank has a tendency to dance a little bit. Jarquez attacks the hole. He will attack the hole, but I like that this is, and we haven't had a guy like this. He just runs north to south. Not a sexy, not the sexy runner, but he runs tough, right? And so you want a guy like that in short yardage. When you need it's 4th and inches, 3rd and inches, you don't want a QB sneak it. He's a guy you put in there for that.
Right.
So I like what he brings to this running back room because you have each guy, you have different guys who do different things. And so that's kind of what you want in a running back room.
Yeah.
Right. So I like the fact that he does that. So I pointed that out. I was pleased to see him run tough and run north to south.
Yeah, it's hard to evaluate him just because run blocking was not good today.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good today. Yeah, run blocking wasn't good. That was probably the biggest letdown of A-Day. Now, mind you, again, we had a lot of guys who did not play today, but run blocking was just kind of man. It was interesting. So I see you guys asking a lot of questions about who did what against who. We're going to have to go back. We're going to break down this tape. So if you are not a member of the War Report, become a member. Go to our YouTube channel, hit that join button, $5.99 a month. If you definitely want to be a member during the fall, because we do film breakdowns of every game, post game, every single game. We do it, we break it down, and we kind of get into the nitty gritty. So it's a great way to rewatch the game, go slow on some things. We actually had all 22 footage for the last few games of the season. So there were some unique angles that we were able to look at from the sideline and from the end zone tight to see what guys' assignments were and break the game down in a way that you do not see anywhere else. So nobody else is doing this, guys. Become a member of the War Report. We are going to go over this A-Day footage and talk about what it is that we saw and what we think these guys can do better. So I'm excited to break the tape down.
I see D-Mac mentioning Jay Fair's name. We got to see a little bit of him.
He had one catch today, did he?
I think he had 2, if I'm not mistaken. One, he had at least 1, but I think he had two catches in the game. So it was good. It was good seeing him. He was tackled as soon as he caught the ball, though. He didn't have an opportunity to do anything just yet. We got a question here from Young KL says, where do y'all have Robbie Ashford on the depth chart? I mean, currently he's number 2. Depending on how this race pans out with Calzada, he's 2 or 3. What do you think, Mike?
I think Robbie's.
He's 2.
He's 2 right now. He's 2
right now. But
yeah, right now he's 2.
I'm curious to see how he play. Again, I don't know what Calzada we're getting when he returns in the summer.
Right.
Ashford has an opportunity to hang on to the second spot. I will say that much. But yeah, appreciate the question. Mike, does it seem like this team looks a lot more cohesive from watching this spring game from what we've seen Auburn last year? It seems like even though we had a lot of guys out, it seems like these guys in key positions understand the offense and understand the defense better. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, I think that is fair. I think that we looked a lot more organized this spring. This was a better spring game. Now, injuries put a damper on a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, we did get a chance to see TJ has improved. He's improved, and we got to assess wide receivers a lot better this spring than we did last spring. That can't be understated as well, too. The improvements in the quarterback room allowed us to be able to assess wide receivers a lot better than we did last year. So I'm excited about Malcolm Johnson going up and high pointing a football for a touchdown fighting. We'll see him on jet sweeps, and we'll see him in some situations that where he's going to be a go-to guy. Cedric Jackson looks very sure-handed. A guy in his 6th year, essentially, you hope, looks that way. But I like our wide receiver room. This year.
I do too. Especially with not everyone even there, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
We gotta. I don't think we have it here.
Yeah. We don't have the thing in here
for Jazzy.
But
another
we'll
jet. So now.
Yeah, but we'll do it. We'll do it. We just don't have the graphic.
Yeah, we don't. We don't have that with this one. So, lame location challenge. Where am I for 50? And did a QB fall? Now, before we went to the break, I saw TJ Finley roll on the ground on the field. Does that count?
He did. He was rolling around on the ground, Jesse.
We didn't do. Did we say what qualifies as a fall?
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think. Where is he for 50? Where was he last time? Was he
in Georgia? Was
Arizona? I think it was Arizona.
He was definitely in Arizona. So if he's making his way back west, I'm gonna go Ohio. Maybe he's back in Ohio at this point.
I'm gonna go Virginia.
Oh man, all the way back on the other coast.
I'm gonna go Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. Virginia. You said Ohio, and then I said Virginia. Okay.
So yeah, I'm seeing these comments kind of rolling in here. While we're waiting on Jazzy to tell us where he's at. There was one comment. Julia, good to see Julia. I hadn't seen Julia in a while. I was rooting for TJ. He just isn't that good compared to the other guys. Holden is just a natural QB. They need to give him some more snaps with the one defense. Resign yourself to the fact that Holden Garner is not going to play this year.
Right.
He's not going to play this year. And in terms of TJ, like I disagree. I disagree with that take. I thought that but outside of just running, what did he do today that the other quarterbacks didn't do? Right? Like, I mean, he threw a good deep ball today. There was one that he threw out there that Tank, I don't know, it was a good throw. It was a good throw down the sideline. It was a really good throw down the sideline. Tank's not a natural wide receiver, so he didn't pull that one in. And he made just as many mistakes nobody did significantly better than TJ Finley today. So it just looks different. People are so enamored with quarterbacks that can run. You do not need to be able to run to be a good quarterback. He just has to make good decisions. So the thing that I'm encouraged about, so the overthrow thing that I said he can't do this fall, my thing with that is something that's correctable. That's not a throw that he can't make. It is just a matter of mechanics. And he talked about it when we interviewed him. He said his biggest things this offseason were leadership and consistency. So I would like to see him beat himself up a little bit about that throw and just, if he's watching the tape, say, hey, I can't do that. And work that out of his game.
I'm sure the coaches will be in his ear about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good throw. The dime to Dawson. The other one over the middle, who caught that? Who caught that? It was Cedric. Yeah, just really good throws. So he made it. It's just a gap. The thing is that, again, and I know Julie is really passionate about this because she was not a Bo fan either.
Right. Facts.
Yeah, the gap between the good and the bad is just what he needs to close. So, I watched Robbie out there and he could move around, but he's still got work on his game. TJ, look, they didn't send, just look, the coaches clearly agree. They didn't even send him back out there for the second half.
Right.
So it'll just be interesting to see how Calzada factors into this. I think he's going to put some pressure on TJ this fall. Nothing wrong with that either. There's
For
nothing
sure.
wrong with that.
No, you want that. You want that. You don't want TJ to get comfortable
You don't want any
with what
quarterback
he
get
did
comfortable.
today.
Yeah.
Right. You don't
Yeah.
want him to be settled like I got this. No, he should feel pressure. He should feel the pressure. We brought on Chris Todd, and Chris Todd talked about the trip he took to Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the Heisman winner there was White. What was his first name? Jason White.
Jason White. Yeah.
Jason White talking, and he Heisman winner talking about each year they're trying to bring in someone better than you.
Better than you. 100%.
So
100%.
the whole goal is for you as a quarterback, even having established yourself as a QB that the quarterback and your team can trust, a guy who can make plays, you have to get up and do it all over again next year. You have to get better. You have to improve, because the expectation is it's going to be harder next year. So I want Finley to have that same pressure. That's not a bad thing if Cal, and I'm happy at Auburn we've actually upgraded the QB room so that our number one, or guy who's in the front, who's the front runner, feels that pressure, because maybe he will elevate his game. I find it funny that the QB we had last year, once he began to really feel pressure that he might lose his job,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny how he started playing better.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All that energy before that, I can't ever lose it. Energy before is gone from this quarterback room, and I think that it's important to note that the competition is there to make guys better.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have an actual competition. It was just kind of nice to watch this year, and just be excited about seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I was excited to see Robbie, and I'm not writing TJ off. I'm just saying we expected to see him. But I was excited to see a good amount of Robbie. I was excited to see Holden at the end, and I'm excited to see Calzada, at the end of the day.
Auburn family, like, listen, for we can pick and choose who we like, but y'all, we saw 3 quarterbacks today. 3 decent quarterbacks today. When was the last spring game you saw 3
that is facts,
decent
man. Come on,
quarterbacks? You saw one and everybody else, right? For years, it's been one QB, and that one QB may be okay. We're not sure, but everyone else we know ain't it. We saw 3 guys who's somebody really loved Garner. Someone really likes Ashford. Someone is like Finley is like, we have 3 QBs. That's a win.
Mm-hmm.
That's a win for us. I'm excited about the summer and the fall, because we got 3 decent guys pushing each other. What was that you told us, Mike? You say it all the time. We've been led to believe that the QB race is closer than what it is, but then when we see who's supposed to be pushing the number 1 guy, we're like, yo, that's Cap.
Yeah, that's Cap.
Those dudes would never see. Those dudes would never see the light of day, right? Yeah. That was the big frustration we had last year. Mm-hmm. Is that can't be your number 2 quarterback,
right? On another note, in terms of the kicking game, I think Evan McGuire has earned the right to do kickoffs next year. I do. I'll die on that hill too. I think Evan McGuire has proven he can put the ball in the end zone off the tee, from the kickoff. So I hope that they get a chance to. I hope that he gets a chance to see the field next year, and they've got to figure out what they're going to do with place kicker. I'm not enamored with Anders Carlson. I'm not. Mm-hmm. And Ben Patton got a chance to go out there and kick a few field goals, nothing too long. And then the kid that's coming in, McPherson.
Yeah.
Right. McPherson is.
I don't know if we're going to see a lot of McPherson. I'll be surprised, but I'm not expecting to see a lot of him, especially if Carlson returns.
Yeah, for sure. So like I said, there's a lot to soak in. You cannot overreact to anything good or bad you saw today. Yeah. There's not a overreaction to anything, but I do think the group that impressed me the most today were the wide receivers. Even with the drop from Dawson,
I'll give you that.
I was impressed with the receivers catching balls over the middle, making plays.
Yeah. I give you that.
Creating separation, catching in space. I think they did it all today.
I thought our tight ends looked.
Oh man, listen,
Whew.
they're going to be a problem.
Whew.
Now, I'll tell you, if Robbie plays, the tight ends eat. I believe that. I think if Robbie plays, the tight ends eat. If TJ's in there, maybe not as much, but Robbie, the way he kind of rolls out and, he
stretches the defense.
Yeah. And then finds those tight ends sitting in the holes in the defense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. TJ got Shanker on near the end of the second half on a route where he kind of sat down in there and it was a big play to the sideline. First half, or maybe second quarter.
Yeah, second quarter.
And he just kind of sat down there and he got out of bounds. I know it's just a spring game, but there was a throw to Tank near the end of the quarter. And he went down in bounds. And I had flashbacks of the Iron Bowl. And I know it's just a spring game, but I'm like, you got to get out of bounds there, right? Like, we're supposed to be simulating live game situations. So he's got to get out of bounds there. I hope that Harsin goes back to the tape and, preaches situational awareness to these guys as well, too.
Sure.
He's got to get out of bounds there. There's no excuse for going down.
A part of me thought about that too, Mike, when I saw it. It was just like, like
that's a nitpick, but I mean,
it is, but at the same time, it's almost as like, well, I stayed in bounds this time. Well, we need you to go out of bounds this time. But no, I think it's true. I think that's a good point in terms of the guys understanding the clock, especially when you're in a 2-minute offense, right? You're in a 2-minute offense, so that should be preached. But again, I expect them to review film all summer long and improve on that. Jazzy responds and says he's in California. He went further west.
Yeah. Hey, listen, TJ Finley fell down. Okay, so we're aware. TJ was on the ground. Jazzy,
on the field even. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I see you guys. We got almost 300 people in here. You guys are very active. Adept Play says it's like the coaches really didn't want to play this game or something. 8-minute quarters and a running clock. Listen, I will tell you, I'm not a fan of the running clock, so I kind of am with him on that. I'm not a fan of the running clock. I think it's not that they didn't take the game seriously or whatnot. It was just. Maybe they just didn't want to show a lot. Who knows? I don't know the reasoning behind that. But as a fan, right? As a fan, I was not a fan of the running clock because the way they were doing the drives, we ended up Holden only got one drive at the end.
Right.
And if we had not been on a running clock, we may have seen him 2 or 3 drives. So with the injuries that we've had, maybe they were just trying to get out without getting anybody else injured. Maybe that was a consideration. So who knows what the reasoning is there? But I wanted to see the fan in me wanted to see a little bit more football than what we saw. That first drive by TJ ate almost the whole first quarter.
I mean, the first drives of each half ate a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I was about to say, well, we ain't about to see a lot if these drives are going to go like this.
Yeah.
So.
Haley Tubbs says, I'm excited about the depth at QB.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Feels like we got a race going on. I appreciate her. She is a loyal listener. Marlon, thanks for watching. Marlon says the offense has work to do, of course, but they look like they understood their assignments. Hopefully that continues over to fall play. I agree too. And that's why I say why it looked more organized. It looked like guys are set like it should look in year 2.
Correct.
It looked like it should look in year 2, where guys just understand where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, so I'm not shocked by that. That's when you're trying to change systems completely from what the last coach was doing, it takes time, and it wasn't going to happen in one off season. Think about it. This coach got here in December. Had to get ready to get guys in the weight room like 15 days later. And then 2 months after that, you have to run spring practices and completely change everything that they've been doing. and he still took that group and won some big games in the fall. So in year 2, you have to just take that momentum and move forward. And this spring, I thought, was a much better spring game than what we saw last year.
Uzi says Robbie won offensive MVP. Interesting.
Like officially, or
I don't know.
He played the most.
Are you saying that was?
Yeah, if they announced that, let's see. We'll see.
It's interesting, but he also came back and said Raleigh won defensive MVP.
Okay, all right. So maybe those are the official winners. I have not gotten a chance.
Yeah, that makes sense. Patton hit 2 field goals, so that makes sense. Yep. Okay.
So, I don't disagree with it. Yeah, Robbie got a lot of looks.
He says it's official.
Yeah, so Robbie got a lot of looks. He got a lot of snaps today. If you're Robbie, you can't ask for much more.
He was. Robbie did his job.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He made the most of his opportunity. But again, too, I think the interesting thing is also, what these guys look like when they get with the first team, right? And so I think with Finley getting a lot of the first team reps, I'm just wanting to see Robbie begin to work his way into getting some of those first team reps. That'll help us. That'll help us to see that he's really pushing TJ, right? Because TJ got, as the spring went on, TJ began to get the majority of the first team reps, right?
For sure.
So that's that. What you got, Mike?
Want to highlight this. This is our guy, Lance Dahl. Lance does our social media. He is part of the War Report crew. Says they had the media vote on offensive, defensive, and special teams MVP. I voted for Ashford, Steiner, and Patton. Okay. All right. And that's not uncommon. During the Birmingham Bowl, we had to vote on MVP of the game. Lance was there with me. I think if you're looking at it, he just got the requisite amount of snaps. I thought that he asserted himself well. Robbie looked confident out there.
Yeah,
he looked really confident out there. I'll say this to you. Appreciate my guy John Brandon in the comments. John rocks with us hard, always here.
My guy.
Here's what I'll say, because we have been a no sunshine pump zone for a minute. When we are sunshine pumping you, we give you the courtesy of telling you that's what we're doing. Hey guys, this is a sunshine pump.
At least we own it. At least we own it, right?
We'll own it. But just guys, don't let anybody steal your joy going into the fall. There's reason to have hope and be realistic. You can do both. We can walk and chew gum on this one. We definitely can. So we made some changes. These guys are completely bought into what's going on here now. And that can't be understated as well. It is a spring game. So there's no reason to overreact or underreact to anything that we saw. What you're looking at is you're just looking at fundamentals. You're looking at, do guys look generally aware of what their assignments are? Do they look confident on the field? Or do the receivers have a chance to catch the ball? Is the line doing a decent job blocking? The offensive line is really hard to evaluate. The guys who are actually going to be starting, a lot of them are out. Right. So we'll be healthy come fall, but this is going to be one of the most veteran groups in the league next year. This coming season, we're going to have one, if not the most experienced offensive line in the league this year. And run blocking is going to be the thing that they need to improve upon. They were the 4th best pass blocking unit in the league last year. So if we can improve run blocking, Tank and those guys should eat, and it should be fun. But, at the end of the day, somebody mentioned all the new names that are in here. There's no reason to just be like super down on what we saw today. I saw things that they improved since last year. I saw improvement in almost everybody. And I saw some new guys come in and contribute some things that we didn't have. Year 2, we have 5 home games to start the season. 2 games to figure it out before Penn State. So hopefully everybody, this coach is prepared with a contingency if the start to the season doesn't go the way we plan, meaning we struggle with the first 2 cupcakes. If it doesn't look fluid, and these are teams that we should beat handily just based on talent alone.
Right.
They should not be in the game with us. And if they are, then that says something about where we're at in terms of execution. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, don't let anybody steal your joy here and come in and be like super down, right? Like, there's no we can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's no reason to say, hey, we're gonna suck. This is a 5-win football team. Give me a break. I mean, that's a clown take. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm going to say it. I think that's a clown take to say we're going to be a 5-win football team. Uninformed. We won 6 games last year in year 1 of changing systems.
Culture, everything.
Yeah, and culture. There's a lot of stuff, man. It's difficult. It's difficult. Some of the best coaches in college football in their first year took over a team and barely won 6 or 7 games. So in year 2, we're going to take some steps forward. We may not contend for the SEC, but that's not where my expectation is at for next year.
No, it's not mine either.
Yeah, my expectation is, I hope we can win 8 games, which we certainly can. If they just win all the games they won last year, plus a couple that we should win. If we don't lose to South Carolina's.
And I want to see us get tougher going into November. I want to see us handle November a lot better than we did last year. Not that we got to win every game in the month of November, but I want us to be a team that improves as opposed to a team that actually regresses as the year goes on.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
So
definitely.
Jazzy has a question here. He says, do they still do autographs after A-Day? Do you know that, Mike?
Maybe. Look, I don't know if we're completely over the whole COVID no contact thing, but I hope they do. The fans deserve some contact from the team and some love from the team after this one. So it's A-Day. It's a good chance. A-Day is for the fans.
Right.
A-Day is for the fans.
For sure.
All the real evaluation is being done in scrimmages and practices behind closed doors. Right. Or the media is not in on, or there's limited media access. So this was for the fans to just get a glimpse of what they've been working on all spring. So, and we got that. So, I hope they are signing autographs. I think I drove out the troll with the positivity, with the positivity. Gabrielle says the culture seems to have turned around, seeing more leadership and guys supporting each other. That is 100% a fact.
That's what you saw. That's what you saw after that last touchdown.
Yeah. Now we talked to a football administrator last year, or this year, I'm sorry, and he told us. He said, Mike, 40% of the guys that we had on this team were bought into what we were trying to do last year. It makes it really difficult. And can you imagine trying to accomplish anything with 60% of the guys that you have on your team tugging their own direction? Mm-hmm. That's going to be really difficult. They do look more together. And I just think, hey, that should yield more positive results in the fall. It will. So if they believe in the process, they did. So the guys who don't believe, they left. And that's not to say that they're wrong. It's just not for them, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
So they chose someplace else, and some of the guys who weren't and stayed are now bought in.
Right.
I assume Javarius Johnson, probably one of those guys. He tested the portal and came back, and he's going to have a chance to be a really good. He's going to have a chance to be a really good player this fall for us. I'm excited about our wide receiver room, man. I'm telling you, a lot of people felt like they were the problem, and they definitely had a lot of room for improvement. But
they actually got better. I mean, but they got better. Our issues with the receivers, they improved as the year went on last year. Like they early in the year, it was bad. A lot of drops. Guys out of position. But as the year went on, we saw less of that. And it seems like that's carried over into spring. Guys making sure-handed catches, guys making plays. And the guys who you saw making mistakes, young guys. Okay, that's to be expected. But it looks like the receiver room is taking a step forward. And you can chalk that up to guys like Shed, who came back, who's been a leader. In the locker room, you got Javarius Johnson, who's come back, who's has some perspective now. He's bought in. So those things are important going into year 2 with this unit. I'm excited about our receivers, and they here. They hear what people say about them.
They do.
They got something to prove too.
Yeah. Listen, Stuart Donald says today was a half gummy day. I can't agree with that more. Again, no need to overreact. But if you don't know what he means by half gummy day, here's a word from our sponsor. This segment of the War Report is brought to you in part by RogueShop.com.
If you're in need of high-quality, all-natural herbs and extracts that contribute to a happy, healthy lifestyle, the Rogue Shop is the place for you. With a variety of products that contribute to a healthy sleep, lower stress, and a happy mood, the Rogue Shop has you covered. Visit them at DRogueShop.com and use code RAPPORT today. Tell them the War Report sent you.
Hey, why aren't I freaking out? RogueShop.com. Visit RogueShop.com. Use code RAPPORT for 10% off. They're a really great sponsor of the War Report.
And John Brandon says, I appreciate the War Report keeping it real, good or bad. Word to the gummy.
Word to the gummy, indeed. Our troll friend may not understand our gummy culture here, as why we probably are not freaking out. I've seen some of the names that I see. Some people are just super, super negative about anything football, but mostly people who weren't Harsin guys from the jump before he had coached a game here.
Right.
I remember the things that they write because I read comments all the time, and you just have to kind of ignore those people, man. And we'll see how he does in the fall. I see. Go ahead. I was going to say, I see Vernon here, War Eagle, Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Go check out his YouTube channel. That's our guy.
Friend of the show. Friend of the show. Appreciate you dropping by, Vernon. Yeah, it's. I like what Harsin is doing because we were in desperate need of a culture change, man.
Yeah.
Desperate need of a culture change. And if anything, you have guys bought in and moving. It appears that they're bought in and moving in one direction as opposed to multiple directions. And anytime you have that in year one, where everything is so new, the coach, and one of the things I noticed about Harsin really seems different. People have said that.
Yeah.
But even in his interviews, he seems a lot more personable. And you like a guy who's focused on football, is football. But to me, he seems like he's learned from what has happened in year one up to now. Right. And I can appreciate. I think Harsin. I mean, we were already a fan of Harsin just because of the culture he was bringing to Auburn. But to see a guy like that be willing to learn, and I think a lot of that speaks to how competitive he is. He wants to win here. What did he look at you and say, Mike, in after the Iron Bowl when you met him face to face?
Oh yeah, he said, "Listen, I want people to know that I'm the guy." Right? He wanted people to know he's the guy to do this job. He wants to be here, and he just needs time. Just like any coach, he needs time. There was a huge overreaction, I think, to what Auburn was or wasn't in year one, but it's year one, man. Expectations are high, but that's part of the job, right? Like nobody gets paid a bunch of money to do a job that comes with low expectations. So I think it hit him how real that was from the fan base after the Iron Bowl last year. He felt the disappointment from the fan base. He himself seemed disappointed, and he knows that was a game that they should have won, and he's going to be really focused on how he wins that game in year two. So he doesn't need to go out there and win the SEC West. I think you beat teams like South Carolina that you should beat.
Right.
This year, that's Missouri. That's a game we have to go out there and win. I think it's our fourth game of the season, right before LSU.
Right.
And, hopefully a lot of hope will be injected into the fan base if you get through your first cupcakes, you beat Penn State, and then you win against a Missouri team you should beat. That's a 4-0 start. And then you build on that momentum. So there's a chance here. If you lay an egg early in this schedule, it could get rough.
Right.
If you lay an egg, early in the schedule, it could get rough. So I expect us to beat what's his face? Brian Kelly, who I've never been a big fan of, and Notre Dame, LSU. You know, they had a lot of guys exit that program. So all those games in the first 5 are winnable. If you find a way to win them, and you show, you know, for Brian Kelly, think about this again. Reset. Watch the struggles that LSU has next year.
Yeah.
Watch the struggles that they're going to have next year.
Sure.
It could be a really bad year for them. Nobody's going to be talking about firing Brian Kelly after year 1. So,
right.
You know, he's got to come in there and same thing from what Coach O was doing. They're changing culture big time down there. I promise you, it's going to be rough on a lot of guys.
Right. And when we look at games like Penn State, we look at those games. If we had made a few different calls in that game, right? Like you look at some of the games we lost, like, why do we do that? Even South Carolina, like, why do we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Having Harsin there, I'm curious to see. I mean, we saw a glimpse of it in the Birmingham Bowl, but some of the decisions in game, if we improve on that, with these guys understanding the offense, having the right guys in place, I expect some of those games that went left for us to be able to turn those into wins in this upcoming season. So I'm curious to see how Harsin definitely calls games for this team, and I'm looking forward to it. Rick says, Mike G, control swear, silencing them with positivity.
Yeah, man. I'm not buying into the overly negative. And, you know, with some of these guys, it's the same story. It's the same story every game, every year, right? Just admit it. You just weren't in from the beginning. So everything you have to say is through that. The only thing Harsin could do to silence that guy is win a national title. He probably will still find a way to be negative. So I'm not into sunshine pumping. I'm not, but I do pay attention to the people who are negative for no reason.
Right.
And there was just no reason to be super negative about anything we saw today. I don't think, not in my book.
Agreed. Marlon makes a great point here. Y'all may have already addressed this, but I was glad to see them still finding a way to get Tank touches once they realize run blocking is crashing at the moment. Of course, due to injuries there. I think Kublik mentioned that Tank got like 6-7 targets in passes. There were quite a few throws made to Tank out of the backfield. And I think they lined him up as a receiver on a few plays, and he was running down the field as a receiver. So they're trying to figure out creative ways to get the ball in Tank's hands, right? So I'm eager to see how that experience continues, that experiment continues to go in terms of getting their playmakers the ball. And that's something Harsin has preached since he got here, is getting the ball in our playmakers' hands to make a play. If you can't line up mano and run up the middle, what can we do with Tank coming out the backfield? And we saw a few screens in this game as well. So definitely curious to see how we continue to use Tank moving forward. Anything else on that?
Yeah. You got to get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Tank is going to be that guy. So if you can't get the ball in his hands, what are you doing? So it doesn't matter whether it's passing the ball or you know, tosses or whatever, man. You just have to get the ball to your best players this fall. Yeah. And I really think that they'll have a chance to be good. I don't want us to run Tank into the ground though. So there are enough playmakers on this team that we don't have to run Tank into the ground.
Like I said earlier, man, I'm excited to see Jarquez come back. And I want him to ball, man. I want to see more of the guy who hurdled over that guy in the Penn State game. I want to see that guy making plays and being a guy who spells Tank, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, you want a fresh Tank in November. Right. Pun intended. Right. So You want to be able to use the guys, and I'm curious to see how Austin comes along, how they use him. I'm sure he will see the field in some aspects, but like I said, you have a guy for every scenario. You have a backup running back to spell tank. You have a guy who's short yardage in Sean Jackson. So I'm excited about this room. We have a very talented, like our QB room, we will have a very talented running back room come fall.
Hey, listen, outside of Tank, they called it back because of a penalty, but Malcolm Johnson put a spin move on a guy in the open field and got upfield for another few yards. I'm telling you, if we can get our playmakers the ball in space, we have a chance to do some really good things this fall. I'm really excited. I can't stress enough. I'm really excited about this wide receiver room. I think they have a chance to really do some damage where a lot of people won't be expecting them to do much. But watching guys, the throw to Malcolm, I thought for the touchdown, I thought that throw could have been a little bit more on the outside shoulder. So that he didn't have to contend with the safeties or the DB or whoever was on him as much for that ball. But to see him go up and just fight for a football, we just didn't see a lot of that last spring. And you know why? Is because we were putting Shed in that position last year. And he's definitely not that guy, right?
Yeah.
So there was a troll in here called G.I. Magus. I put him in timeout for 5 minutes. He should be back any second now. So you see G.I. Magus.
Maybe not if he's a troll. What's so funny about trolls?
That's Ike. It's Ike. It was Ike.
What's so funny about trolls? Ike, he's still a troll. Why'd you put Ike in timeout? You are terrible.
I just want to be a jerk.
You achieved that.
Oh my goodness.
Bingo is asking, if we missed a day, will you guys feature it on your channel? We can't do that.
No, we can't do that.
But here's what we can do. And here's why you need to become a patron. Why, Mike G?
All right. So become a patron of our channel. We will be breaking down a day play for play. Myself, Ike Jones, if you have never seen one of these during the fall, this is something we do that is patron or member only. So if you are not a patron, become a patron of our channel, $5.99 a month. During the fall, we'll do this after every single game. Now, the reason that we do not post whole replays of games is because YouTube has rules about that. And if your channel is monetized, they can take that away from you for reposting copyrighted content in its entirety. So we don't play around with that. The replay stuff, it's chopped up and slowed down enough that it doesn't count as like a rebroadcast. So that's why we don't do that. There are channels on YouTube that do that. But they're not making any money, and YouTube has likely taken away the ability for them to make money at all on any of their content if you're consistently posting copyrighted content. So we don't do that because we don't want to be demonetized. That will change the War Report greatly, but
that will help keep us on our jobs.
Yeah, right. But I can point you to some places that will. If you are ESPN Plus member, you can go back and rewatch the game. I do it all the time on the ESPN app. Particularly, it's easiest from the computer or your Xbox or something. But they have replays of live events all the time on the ESPN app. So just a little info there.
Steve Bradley has a question for us. How would we compare the depth chart today from a year ago? Better, same, or worse?
Better.
I think it's better too.
I think it's a lot better. And here's why I say that. At the one we're talking about depth. So behind our ones, I feel like we're a lot better in a lot of situations. And I think this defense has a chance to be better than a defense that was really good at times last year. So on defense, lots of good stuff there. On offense, this is a much better quarterback room than it was a year ago.
Running back situation is better.
The running back situation is better. You've got
Receivers.
you've got experience and talent returning. The receiver core again is better, and not just from a talent perspective. I mean, there's a lot of other things
They're
that you have to think about.
gelling.
Yeah, I thought we saw that today, though. I thought that was clear today.
Yeah.
Those guys look more cohesive as a unit.
Right.
So
and even with the O-line, like you got a lot of guys who are playing who probably wouldn't have played a lot, right? And so if any guys are taking a step, I think they mentioned one of the guys on the line today who's been making some noise. I'm trying to think, where is he? I'm looking at the list of them and it's escaping me. But with guys being injured is giving them an opportunity to get to show what they can do. And so I think even when the starters come back, you have some guys that if someone goes down in injury, maybe there's some guys you can rely on moving forward. So I like the fact that even in injury, guys are getting an opportunity to show these coaches what they can do with the first team. And so I think that has to help your depth moving forward, even with O-line. D-line, I'm curious to see the question marks I have with the D-line, even though you have Harris, you have Wooten. I'm curious to see how the D-line looks in year 2. I expect that they'll look better, especially with Thanos out there. But I'm also curious to see what our secondary looks like because we lost a lot in our secondary.
Thanks.
So those are question marks there. But overall, as a team, I definitely like our depth on this team in year 2.
Yeah. I just think this is going to be a much better football team come fall than what we saw last year. And more guys will contribute. We won't be leaning on anybody to be a superhero, at the end of the day. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up working out for this team. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fall. Again, no reason to overreact to anything that we saw positive or negative today. I saw a lot of stuff that is correctable between now and September. And a lot of even good stuff that can be improved upon between now and September as well too. So
it wasn't a train wreck today.
No, it was not.
It wasn't a train wreck.
The only time I lost it was when Dawson dropped. I lost it when Dawson dropped that pass because I'm just thinking, come on, young man, like that was going to be the highlight of A-Day.
That was your moment.
The deep throw, and Finley put it on the money, and you dropped it.
And you got to make your coaches look good because Harson's been talking about you.
Yeah,
right?
Man,
so you got to show what Harson's been talking about, right? We know you've been making plays behind the scenes, but here's your time to show it. Just catch the ball.
Yeah.
You don't even have to fight for it. Just catch the ball, right?
Philip Coleman says, we are building a next man up type of team. I agree. It takes time to build that.
They're taking on his personality.
Yeah, it takes time to build that. This coach deserved time, right? He deserved time to get it together and figure out what this team could be. And he deserves patience as well, too. There were high expectations in year 1, but I will point out that everybody's expectations were high because in the first half of the season, they themselves raised the bar. And then our weaknesses got exposed as the season got
injuries piled up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a lot of people in the SEC. When November hits, mid-October to November, you start to see what you're made of. And I expect them to hold up a lot better over the back half of the schedule this year than they did last year. If God willing, we can stay healthy.
Right.
So we get an injury at quarterback. I don't expect it to sink our season.
Main Easy, War Eagle to you. Appreciate you jumping in and hollering at us, man.
Subscribe to his Instagram. We all about the AU. He's got the biggest Instagram page for Auburn content out there. But he posts some really good stuff over there. Go check out his Instagram if you're on the gram. That's not a bad thing to do.
Guys, we'll be back. Ike will definitely be joining us on tomorrow with the weekend tailgate as we will conclude A-Day, giving our thoughts on what we saw. We'll process, and we'll definitely be with y'all again. We got another super chat coming in from Bryce. Can we talk real quick about how TJ probably dies on the one play where the dude came at him from his left while he was?
Yeah, listen, we're gonna break down the film. We're gonna
talk about
on
that.
this. Yeah, we're definitely gonna break down the film. It's hard in real time. So I will say this again: if you did not watch us in the fall on game day, these post games are our immediate emotional reaction to what we saw. Everybody always asks the coach right after the game because we're in the post game pressers and we say, "Hey, coach, what did you think on that play?" And half the time he doesn't have an answer because he's got to go back and watch the film. We're the same way. You got to go back and you got to watch the film to see what happened. So we're definitely going to do that. I did think, Bryson, there were a couple plays out there that TJ is sacked if it's a live game.
Yeah.
And he wasn't playing with his complete O-line today, so that has to be factored in a little bit.
And your clock is a little off because you can't get hit too. You got to factor that in as well. So your clock is not the same clock that you have in the fall.
Yeah, ain't no wrong with taking a sack every once in a while if it's not there.
Yeah.
So,
I guess we want to get out of here, y'all.
Yeah,
we appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We will definitely be back tomorrow, same time. And Ike will join us and we will talk more about A-Day.
Yeah.
So you guys know where to find us. You know where to find us on YouTube, guys. Please be sure, if you haven't, share this video, share it on your social medias, use hashtag get your weight up, like this video, get our engagement up, show us some love, subscribe if you're new to our channel. Okay. Also, you can find us at The World Report, Instagram, Twitter. We're TW Report on TikTok. That's it for now, guys. We're signing off. See you guys tomorrow. As always,
War Eagle.
War Eagle.